Hello everyone, Chris Young here from the Wrestling Bites podcast, and today I'd like to give you my quick hits on NWA Powerrrr. Now this was actually the first episode of NWA Powerrrr I've ever seen, and when you compare it to the other shows we watched this week, it was different, and that made it feel special. The wrestling was spot on, no complaints there, and the show is very storyline driven, which I enjoy. But let's set all that aside, because there are a few things we need to talk about. Let's start with Kyle Davis. For those of you that don't know, Kyle Davis is the guy in the middle. He's the one conducting the interview. He was more of a character than he was an interviewer. He tended to make a lot of silly faces. Lots of examples for you. In fact, at one point in time, somebody from the crowd yelled and he actually acknowledged it. Took away from the interview. Again, more silly faces. Totally demeans the intimidation that Mike Knox is trying to do. Like I said, I've got plenty of examples, but we'll just leave it here, because this was obviously the point in time when they brought out the pizza, and both him and Trevor Mordoch were extremely excited. Austin Idol said something that was totally awesome. He called out wrestlers for using forearms. He says, forget the forearms, rear back, clench your fist, punch them in the face. Yes, that's wrestling! They really need to sort out their commentator issue. There's no play-by-play person, they're all color analysts, and they keep talking over each other. It's hard to follow. During the main event between Mike Knox and the champion Trevor Mordoch, the finish got screwed up. And I blame the referee! Here he is counting 3. His hand is literally hitting the mat on the 3 count. Mike Knox is not kicking out, shoulders are down, but they called it a 2. Watch the referee here. He's out of position and has to jump over and count the pin. The problem is when he jumps and lands, that's when he counts 1. What he needed to do was get in position and then count 1. Even though the referee yelled 1 when he counted 1, I know it didn't register to Mike Knox that he was counting because the referee jumped and landed at the same time. So 2 in Mike Knox's head was actually 1. They announced the Crockett Cup is coming back, totally awesome. They also announced 4 NWA tag teams that are going to be a part of it, but then they didn't list anybody else. They did say other people would participate, but it makes you wonder, who's gonna win? I wonder. Also, I'm glad to see Chris Elliott has been able to find work now that Schitt's Creek is over. That's all for today. Be sure to drop me a comment. I love reading those. Tomorrow we'll be recording our first episode of the Wrestling Bites podcast, and it'll be available Monday or Tuesday on anywhere you get your podcasts. So until then, be sure to keep it between the ropes.